Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. My original Fire Cape guide is over 3 years old at this point, and although I said I would never redo it because I was pretty happy with it, we have had so many cool updates that make getting your first Fire Cape easier than ever, so that is why today we go back to the fight caves and show you how to defeat Jad and his goons in the easiest way possible. We got a lot to go over in this video, so a quick reminder to subscribe and like it if you find it helpful, and you can join our Discord server with the link in the description if you have any questions, since we can all help you with anything you might be having trouble with. Okay Scapers, here we are after more than 3 years, and for this guide we are going to switch it up and I will start from the end. What does that mean? I'm gonna show you how to battle Jad without having to go through 62 waves of monsters. In case you die, you feel like you wasted your time and you have to go in there again in order to get more practice and finally secure your Fire Cape. You don't have to do that. All you need to do is open your world selection menu, scroll to any world labeled as speedrunning world, which has a light blue star. You're gonna click on it, and when prompted, you're gonna click on switch world. If you have never done this before, how it works is that picture your account as a game, but the different game types as a different save file. Once you log into this new world, don't panic if you don't see any levels, any gear. This is basically how it works for speedrunning worlds, DMM, or obviously the fan favorite, leagues. Now, when you are here, open your quest log, scroll to the medium category, click on beneath cursed sounds, and you're gonna click on setup speedrun. What this is gonna do, it will teleport you to Sophanem with a lot of levels, a lot of gear, but most importantly, we already have a Fire Cape. How is that gonna work? You're gonna click on the bottom left, the stone of your HUD, here on grouping, select an activity, and then scroll down to the Tzar fight pit. You're gonna teleport, and once we get there, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do in order to save you a ton of time on your way to the first Fire Cape in case you feel like it's too difficult. So here we are at the Tzar city, and we just walked past the entrance of the fight caves. You might be like, aren't we going to practice that there? Well, or on this world. This guy is basically doing the same, and I'm going to show you what we are doing. When you get to this part of the city, and if you click on the hot event, the Tzar guard is going to stop you going like, nah, you can't go in there. So you're going to use your Fire Cape on him, make sure to unequip it. He's going to be impressed, and he's going to let you through the Tzar city of Mor Ol Rek. In this place, you will find things like the Inferno, lava eel fishing, a gem shop, an ore shop. I believe you can cook here, there's a bank, there's a ton of things here, but most importantly, we're here for one thing and one thing only, and that is being able to battle one Jad. And if you're feeling adventurous, if you want to challenge yourself, you can even fight 2 Jads at once. How this is gonna work? You're gonna make your way to this, I believe, like little throne where this guy is here, is at Tzar-Ket-Zek. Click on him. You have to spacebar through everything. This is really not that important. And once he asks you, are you brave enough? You're gonna say absolutely, and he's gonna give you a bunch of different options. What you're gonna do is click on the first challenge, go in, and you're gonna have enough time to equip all of your range gear. And what's gonna happen is that you will be placed at the Inferno, or at the Inferno arena. I believe there's a little bit of a delay, so you don't have to worry about it. And then you are going to fight an Inferno version of TzTok-Jad. Make sure to remember that this is a stronger version of the Jad that you're going to battle in the fight cave itself. It has a lot more defense, a lot more HP, a lot more stats. It's going to be a lot tougher to defeat. So I am not going to really look at the mechanics right now because that's what the guide is for. Just remember that this is what you can do in order to practice the most quote-unquote difficult challenge and the, I would say, toughest part of the entire fight cave, especially if it's your very first one. So what happens if and when you die? You are going to spawn right back at Lumbridge. And you might go like, okay, so let's go for another round. But if you try to do it the same way, if you teleport to the Tzar fight pits, the game is not going to let you because the minigame teleport has a cooldown of 20 minutes. We can easily bypass this by clicking on the quest log beneath cursed sounds again, click on setup speedrun, and then look, the cooldown is not there anymore, and you can just do that all over again for as long as you want. Now, like I said before, that is not going to be a guide for Jad itself. Make sure to know that that's what you can do in order for you to practice Jad, practice your prayers. What I will recommend you do is like maybe just stay there, flicking prayers whenever you want. I'll explain how to telegraph them, but this is the very first part of the video, and now we're going to jump into the important details. Getting your first Fire Cape may seem like a tough task if you are brand new to the game. What's tougher is hunting for the pet if your RNG is absolute trash. But thanks to today's video sponsor, Creator Crafted, you can get a real-life Jad pet or multiple others whenever you want without spending thousands of hours on the grind. Not only can you find super cute plushies to upgrade your gaming space, they have resin casts, LED lights, posters, and new products like desk mats, air fresheners, and even stickers to decorate your gaming space. The Twisted Bow LED I got a while back is in our gaming room, and we absolutely love it. They have so many cool pieces that I honestly cannot fit all the ones I like in this segment, so go check out their website to see all of their amazing OSRS inspired products. If you decide to get anything, use a link in the description or the pinned comment, or use code Kaoz10 at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. Thank you very much to Creator Crafted for sponsoring this video, and let's continue. A super nice comment I got on my original guide basically thanked me for showing where the fight caves are, which I'm gonna guess that a lot of guide makers assume that people already know where it is, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. If you have an Amulet of Glory and if you teleport to Karamja, that is going to be one of the cheapest and easiest ways that you can get to the entrance of the fight caves. Quick note, I completely forgot to mention the minigame teleport that we used for the speedrunning world, so if it's not on cooldown, make sure to use it to be next to the entrance of the fight caves in literally less than 10 seconds. As you make your way there's other, I would say, options. If you go to Brimhaven, if you have your POH here, if you teleport to Camelot or Ardy or any place near a dock, you can then teleport to Brimhaven and then basically run east. We are looking to run at top of the volcano, and then once near the rocks, you're going to click on climb down, and then the entrance to the Tsar city, which I already showed you, is going to be located directly right of the entrance of the volcano that we were just in. And this place should already look familiar because this is where I had the little intro for the speedrunning worlds, and there is a bank right here in order for us to prepare for our very first fire cape. I will show you 3 different setups, and this is the first one. We're only going to look at equipment first, and then I'm going to show you the inventory setup for our very first fire cape. The only thing that has an actual requirement, the 2 things that have a requirement, is the Archer helmet, for which you need Frenetic Trials, and then an Avos accumulator, for which you need Animal Magnetism. Anything else you can get on the Grand Exchange. If you're an Ironman, you'll obviously have to get it yourself. You're going to take an Amulet of Glory. Rune arrows are not that expensive anymore, and then you're going to get a Magic Shortbow, a Magic Shortbow scroll. You're going to use them on each other, and you're going to get a Magic Shortbow imbued. Get yourself blue d'hide body, chaps, vambraces, snakeskin boots, and you can take any explorer's ring as long as you have done the Lumbridge Diary. It doesn't have to be the 4th one. This takes a lot more levels. People flamed me in my previous video because I showed the Explorer's Ring 4, but take whatever level or tier of Explorer's Ring you can use, and this is what I would personally go for my very first fire cape. You really do not need anything else. The following setup is a little chunkier with a few more requirements, but it is going to be well worth it to give you the best fighting chance at getting your fire cape on your first attempt. We're going to keep the Archer helmet and the Avos accumulator, and we have 2 big upgrades. The very first one is an Amulet of Fury, which nowadays is, I believe, about 2 million GP. If you don't have that money, sticking to an Amulet of Glory is going to be more than enough. However, the one thing I do heavily recommend is a Hunter's Sunlight Crossbow. Thanks to Valimor Part 3, this is now the best weapon, the best ranged weapon you can equip at level 66 with 50 Hunter, up until the moment you can equip a Toxic Blowpipe at level 75. We're going to pair that up with a Moonlight Antler Bolts to have the highest damage output, and the next upgrade is a Book of Law. In order to get this item, you need to complete a quest called Horror from the Deep. You're going to go to the NPC upstairs in the lighthouse. If you have done the quest, you remember how to get there, and then you're going to go to the Grand Exchange and then buy a set of Armadillo pages, and this is going to give you more ranged bonus in your offhand. We're gonna upgrade to Red Dragonhide Body, Chaps, and Vambraces. If you already have Barrow's Gloves at this point, which you should definitely have, Barrow's Recipe for Disaster is not that difficult nowadays, go ahead and upgrade to those. But just in case you don't like questing, this is what you should be rocking. And to keep the Snakeskin Boots and whatever tier of Explorer's Ring you have. Shout out to Iceman00 for spotting me here in the fight caves. We're gonna keep the Archer Helmet, the Avos Accumulator, the Fury, and if you want to upgrade to the God d'hide Boots, it will give you slightly better range bonuses and plus, I believe, 1 prayer bonus it is. And also, you should have your Barrow's Gloves if you had them from the previous inventory setup, then that's fine. But the biggest upgrade in the entire setup is going to be a Blowpipe. And I recommend that you charge it up with a bare minimum of Adamant darts. Those are not that expensive nowadays. If you want to go for mithril darts, those are like 2 or 3 GP each. It's going to be better for your wallet, but you're going to lack a lot of DPS. That is basically the progression, what you want to follow. I believe you can also equip God the D-Hide Coif if you want, if you have level 70 range and if you have level 40 defense, but it's not really necessary. It's not life or death. You can rock this, and yeah, that is basically the progression of the gear you want for your very first Fire Cape. When it comes to inventory, a pretty standard set of items to take is as follows: 3 ranging potions, 1 bastion potion, 9 Ceradomin brews, 3 super restores, 10 prayer potions, and a maximum of 2 new type of potion called a prayer regeneration potion. If we do a little price check on all of these, you will see that it is a total of 388k. However, the most expensive one is going to be the prayer regeneration potion. This is a luxury item, and if you don't want to buy it, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and substitute it with more prayer potions. But the reason why these are so insane is that if you take 1 sip of this, it is going to recover 1 prayer point every 12 takes for 8 minutes. Doing a little bit of math, a single dose of this is going to give you a total of 66 prayer points over the duration. So basically it is going to be more effective to take, but the only downside to it is that it's going to have that long-term benefit that you're not going to get instantly. So you're going to have to, like, divide them evenly throughout your run. Okay, so we're almost ready to go in, but before we do that, if you're using Runelite, here are my top 3 favorite plugins that I was absolutely spamming when hunting for the pet, which made it even better, and this is going to maximize your chances at getting your first Fire Cape, or if you're looking for combat achievements. The very first one is something called FC Spawn Predictor, and what that will do when you activate it is that you will see a little box down here, or wherever you have it, that will show you current rotation, next, and desired. If you didn't know, the Fight Caves has a few rotations. I believe it's like 13, 14, 15, you will see it on screen right now. And basically the monsters are going to be spawning at specific places of the cave, and the plugin itself, once you go in there, is going to tell you where they will spawn and what comes next, so you are ready to fight whatever it is that's going to come after you. This is the #1 plugin I recommend for the Fight Caves, and you cannot do it, whether it be for your first cape, combat achievements, or the pet, without it. The second one, go to the plugin hub and download a plugin called the Ground Object Hider. You will see some numbers on screen right now. I want you to copy those, or you will see them in the description also, so you can copy them. Go ahead and copy those to the IDs to hide on the ground. And as you can see, most of the time in which I have been here in the Fight Caves, the entire floor is black. What happens when I turn this off? This will have this texture, which in my opinion is absolutely annoying, and after doing 125 Fight Caves, this was actually giving me a headache. So if you activate the plugin, it is going to hide that texture, and it will make it so much better in case you are doing this multiple times. If you're going, again, combat achievements or the pet, this will make it so much better, and your eyes are not going to be hurting all the time. The last one I recommend is something called NPC Highlight, and what you will do is that once you activate it, you can shift click any monster, and you can tag all, you can tag just one, and that is going to add those monsters to a list. You will also see them on screen and in the description, every single monster in the Fight Caves, in order for you to be able to see the, I would say, box, the tiles which they occupy, and when they are going to come after you. You can shift click a monster again, untag them, and you can even give them like a different color if you see. So tag color and everything, but we don't need these for the NPCs outside. Okay, so we have the levels, the gear, the inventory, and the plugins. It is time to go into the Fight Caves. With the gear, I recommend for either your first cape, or even if you have anything lower, this is what we're going to be rocking, so good luck. Once you head inside, take a look around the map, and you will notice that some tiles are going to be highlighted green and white. What that means is that the white tiles, and also you will see the name of the monster that is going to spawn there, are going to be the monster where they spawned on the current wave that you are at. And the green one is going to be where the monsters are going to spawn next, and this is why FC Spawn Predictor plugin makes this absolutely brain dead. You are going to know where monsters are going to spawn, and that is going to let you that is going to let you know where they're going to stand and safe spot them properly, whether it be from a safe spot that I'm going to show you right now, or behind other monsters, which I'm also going to show. I am now going to talk a little bit about each monster in scripted form, because the unscripted version took way too long, and I don't want to overload you with information. After this, I will show you safe spots and ways to deal with multiple combinations of monsters leading up to the final fight. The bats have 10 HP and a max hit of 4. Despite these not being powerful, they will drain 1 prayer point every time they hit you, even if it's a 0. In later waves, these become low priority as you maneuver around other monsters, so defeat them as fast as possible in the early waves to save as much prayer for later. The blobs have 20 HP and a max hit of 7. They have 2 mechanics, and you're not really going to deal with the first one for your first fire cape, because if you hit them with melee, they will reflect 1 damage back at you, but with ranged this becomes irrelevant. The second one is that when you kill it, it will spawn 2 smaller enemies. The small blobbies have 10 HP and a max hit of 4. Exactly like the bats minus the prayer draining effect, and you can use these to safe spot other blobs, the bats or the melee, but more on that later. The ranger has 40 HP and a max hit of 13. If you go within their melee range, they can slap you with melee, so remember to always stay at least 1 tile away from them. Unlike the bats and the blobs, these are fairly accurate, so range prey becomes a priority when it starts spawning. The melee has 80 HP and a max hit of 25. Their unique mechanic is that they can heal 10 HP to themselves or other monsters when their health falls below 50%, only when they are right next to you. As long as you are safe spotting them or running away, they will not heal anything. This can happen multiple times with a few seconds of cooldown, so prioritize them not being next to you. The Major has a whopping 160 HP and a max hit of 54. Their only quote-unquote mechanic is that they can also attack with melee if you're right next to them, and when they start appearing, you should always start every wave with Mage Spray on. I will show you how to use both him and the Ranger to safe spot the melee minions coming up to safely maneuver around them. Finally, we have Jad himself with 250 HP and a max hit of 97. In short, he can attack with all 3 styles, and when he falls below 50% HP, 4 healers will spawn to, well, heal him, and you need to attack all of them to stop them from doing so. I am being brief with this one because we will look into the entire Jad fight in detail towards the end of the run. Now that we know more about the monsters, before we get into the safe spots, the way the fight cave works is that you will start with 1 bat. When it dies, 2 of them will spawn. When they both die, a new enemy will appear, which is the blob. Then we have a blob and a bat, and then a blob and 2 bats, and then 2 blobs. When they both die, the ranger will start appearing. The FC Spawn Predictor plugin will remind you that whenever you defeat the 2 of the same enemy, a new one will spawn, and weaker ones will keep appearing to quote-unquote combine into the higher tier monsters. Double Ranger is followed by the melee, double melee is followed by the major, and finally the double major is followed by Jad. So that's pretty much it about the monsters, and the only other thing you need to know is how to correctly safe spot the minions coming after you to attack with melee. You have 2 ways of doing so, and the very first one is to camp any side of the arena next to the big rocks. You will see a lot of people mentioning the Italy rock, but you can do this on 3 sides. The way enemies try to get to you, their southwest corner is always going to try to align with you. If they are horizontally aligned with you already, they will try to move vertically next. But because the rocks are in the way, the melees and the blobs will always be stuck. This becomes a matter of having NPC indicator on and seeing how their southwest tile is moving towards you so you know where to stand. You can even get monsters completely stuck on the other side of the rock while you deal with other monsters, so you can simplify the waves and deal with 1 or 2 things at a time. The other way to safe spot the melee style minions is with either the Ranger, the Major, or even the little blobbies. If you're dealing with just 1 Ranger and 1 Major at a time, you can go behind them so the other mobs get stuck. As long as you're praying correctly, you don't need to worry about taking damage. So once they die, pray melee and go to the safe spot or kill them on the spot. If you are ever in a position where you have to deal with the Major, the melee, and the Ranger at the same time, what you can do is pray Mage, kill the Ranger quickly to avoid the chip damage, and then get the melee stuck behind the Major so you avoid melee damage. Remember, you have different scenarios for which there are multiple ways to safely solve the waves, and if you want to see a full unedited and commentated run of me going over this in detail, you can find that video in the description. The final thing to mention before Jad is that he will spawn wherever the orange Major appears. In case you want to take a little break during any wave, click the logout button. Once all the monsters are defeated, this will pause the wave and you'll be able to log out, and coming back in will place you in the next wave. Make sure to take a break before Jad to go to the bathroom, drink water, walk around, or even go to the speedrun world to get a little bit more practice. And this is TzTok-Jad. So, what's gonna happen? If he stands on his back legs for a little bit, that's going to be a mage attack. If he does a slam, that's gonna be a ranged attack. What I recommend is camping range prey, because the mage sound effect, as you can hear, is going to come out of his mouth before the attack. However, if it does ranged, when you hear the sound effect, it's already too late. If you hear that sound, damage is already going to be calculated, and if you're not praying range at that time, you are absolutely screwed. It can hit a 0, it can hit a 80, 90, I don't remember the max, I think it's like a 92 or something, but this is what I personally recommend. You want to stand here for a little bit, you want to chill, practice your prayers, go ranged, basically does standing on his back legs, that's mage. Slamming on the ground, that's going to be ranged, see if it does it now, beautiful. When you are confident enough, you can start attacking him, and you are still going to do the same. Back legs, pray magic, slam, pray range. That is basically it. You are going to do this until Jad hits half HP, and I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can deal with the healers. The first one is going to be the easiest one, and then the others are going to be like a little bit more advanced. Although I think I should do it from advanced to maybe like basic or easy, depending on how you want to look at it. I'm going to turn rigor just for this fight to make it go a little quicker in order for the healers to spawn. Now, what happens is that whenever Jad hits 50% HP, the healers are going to come from different places in the fight caves. They're not going to spawn right next to him, and that's going to give you a little bit of time in order to tag all of them. What I recommend you do, the more confident you get, it doesn't matter if Jad goes all the way to full HP, you're here to practice, this is your first time doing it, you want to take things as chill as possible. Don't care about getting to 100% HP. When all the healers are on him, right now I'm getting lucky and he's only attacking with range. What I want you to do is I want you to pray correctly, tag one healer, and then wait if you want. You are going to pray correctly, tag another healer. You are going to pray correctly, what's it doing? It's doing magic. Tag another healer, right? Right there, I don't have a retaliate on. I have 2 of them, pray mage, and then tag another healer. The easiest way to do this is that you want to lure every single one of them, take them all the way here, pray range, careful, and then you want to lure the healers behind the Italy rock, because that's going to make Jad stuck, and then you can kill all the healers one by one, and you can pray melee, and that is going to nullify every bit of damage. It's going to be a little annoying because they can heal each other, and they can even heal themselves, which is not really that good. Now, imagine that I already killed all of them, and then you get back to Jad. What do I recommend doing next is like a little bit more advanced to make sure to pray range, watch it, do not want to tank a mage it. And then whenever the healers spawn, what you can do is when all of them are on you, this is a little bit more advanced, but it's not like impossible, is that you want to run through Jad praying melee, right? And then once you make it to the other side, boom, there we go. Now, what happens if all 4 healers are on him, or technically they're on you? They're going to be focusing you, but because Jad is in the way, they're not going to be able to damage you. They're not going to be healing Jad. So all you need to do is keep dealing damage, and that is basically it. I would say second thing that I recommend you do, that you saw me doing before, is that whether it be like right next to Jad, you can just literally tank them, and then you can kill them one by one if you're feeling confident enough, if you're tanky, if you have good defensive stats. This is what you can do, and when you kill all of them, then it is just you versus Jad, and that is about it. I am not going to get this KC because I don't want it to get higher than 125, but those are the 3 ways in which you can deal with the healers. You can lure them, and then you can kill them one by one. You can be praying correctly, and then you can... by the way, I'm going to start, taking damage because I don't want to get the KC. And then you can kill them one by one, or you can run through Jad with Protect from melee on. He's not killing me, I don't know why. So yeah, that's basically the Jad Fight the Jad Fight. And remember, you can go to the speedrunning world in order to practice everything I told you. However, in the Inferno version of Jad, you are not going to have the Italy rock in order to safe spot the healers in case you want to do any of those tactics. So yes sir, that's about it. If you found that run useful, which is just for the video, if you want to look at the description, I'm going to have a full unedited run. I'm going to go for another one after this. And yeah, so you can see everything I'm thinking of. You can check out all the mechanics that I do and whatever, and that is about it. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, and of course, if you want to join our Discord with help with your inventory, your levels, your gear, all of us are there to help you get your first fire cape, or in case you are getting any combat achievement. So yeah, that's basically it. If you boys and girls enjoyed this video, make sure to tell me if you remember your first fire cape, if you already have it, if you have the pet. Tell me anything you want related to the fight caves or or the Fire Cape or Jad, and if you include the term RSN and your username in your comment, you'll be entered in our weekly bond giveaway, for which we will pick a winner on Friday's stream. A final thank you to Creator Crafted for sponsoring the video, so if you made it this far, go check out their website for all of their amazing products, and remember to use the link down below or the code Kaoz10 for 10% off your entire order. I also want to give a massive shout out to all the people you see on screen for further supporting the channel monetarily. All your contributions help both my family and a local animal shelter we donate to every month. Click the join button below to see all the cool perks and the benefits you can get in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord. In the next one, I will update my 1 to 99 melee guide, since we have gotten new items in the game, as well as training methods that make the mid and the late game more tolerable. For now, I hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.